Our story continues with our main couple, Haein and Hyunwoo. While she is in her husband's hometown, she starts hallucinating and she finds herself in a strange place. Hyunwoo rides his bike, looking for her. Finally, he finds her. He is very worried about her. He asks her the reason why she reached her and looking for her a lot. At the beginning, she lies and says she just walks around and asks him to stop yelling. When he is about to leave, she cries and opens up that she doesn't know how she gets her. He rushes and hugs her. It rains. He accompanies her to sit under a tree. She mentions that she comes to his hometown because his sister texted her about his father's election and he would lose it. Hyunwoo's family come looking for Haein. She is touched by their kindness towards her, that kindness who didn't receive from her own family. At Hyunwoo's parents' house, Haein and Hyunwoo share the same room. He feels that he attracted towards her. Sucheol shows Haein's mother a video, showing Haein is among the villagers, eating with them. Also, her mother-in-law appears in the video, beside Haein while giving her food and Haein looks happy. Haein's mother feels jealous of Hyunwoo's mother because Haein looks happier around her. That video went viral on the internet. Hyunwoo's mother warns the family members not to open divorce matter in front of Haein and not to tell anyone in village about divorce. Hyunwoo's father opens up that he told one of villagers he is a marriage counselor. Hyunwoo's father goes to meet the marriage counselor who told him about his son's divorce. He wants to make sure that counselor didn't tell anyone about that. He says that he only told his mother. While Hyunwoo puts bandages on her wounds, he is about to kiss her, but he rushes outside the house. He ends up drinking with his brother. Haein gets shocked, seeing Hyunwoo just left her, drinking outside, and she overhears him, saying that he doesn't want to go back to the room. She gets annoyed and leaves. Flashback 2 years ago. The couple Haein and Hyunwoo lost their baby, and when Hyunwoo asks her about the reason, she answered coldly that it was on her nervous. She removed the nursery. Hyunwoo gets offended. He decides to move his belongings into the nursery room and sleep separately in this room. Hyunwoo spent that night crying while Haein is regretting. This accident caused the rift between them. In the morning, Hyunwoo returns to the room to find Haein ready to leave. When Hyunwoo and Haein are about to leave, that marriage counselor and his mother come to bid farewell them. That grandma advises Hyunwoo about the divorce, among all the family's shock. Haein gets confused, but doesn't pay much attention to it. They finally leave. After Hyunwoo and his wife left, his father and his siblings discuss about how their relationship deteriorated as time passes and wondering what happened to their love. Hyunwoo and Haein reach home. He holds his umbrella for her because it's raining. Regardless that he gets wet, she mentions that she did not wait for him. On their way to the house, they meet Eun-sung, who has been invited by Haein's mother to stay at the guest house with them. While she is washing her hands, she observes a line was drawn on her palm. Flashback while they were at Hyunwoo's house, she complains to Hyunwoo that her lifeline on her palm is too short. She goes and sits with Eun-sung, who asks her if they sleep separately in different rooms. It turns that he already knows about their relationship through Grace. Grace told him that although Hyunwoo is tired and sick from his in-laws, he keeps saying the right things and the Han family always listens to what he says. Grace also adds that despite Hyun and Haein argue, she always listens to him. Eun-sung recognizes that he needs to kick Hyunwoo of the house as soon as possible to complete their plan. Back to Yoonseon and Haein, he tells her that as usual for the husband gets bothered from his wife's male friend moved into their house, but Hyunwoo isn't bothered. Sucheol guides Eun-sung a tour in the house. He explains all the Hong houses are connected through an underground network. Though all of them appear to enter different houses, essentially the entire family lives together. This is how the chairman designed the structure. Sucheol opens up to Eun-sung that his mother got him a talisman so that Haein cannot overpower him. Haein visits the hospital for checkup on her brain tumor. The doctor tells her there is no chance to get cure for her, but she insists that she will find one. While she is leaving the hospital, she notices the man who delivered juice in the office, who was his baby, was in the incubator. She asks him about the baby. He says the baby now is in the ICU. She asks him to deliver 250 juice bottles to the office. She did that, trying to help him, getting money. At the company, Sucheol proposes a project with cost 1 trillion won to the chairman, but Hyunwoo's opinion is against that because it's very risky. The chairman agrees Hyunwoo's opinion. Hyunwoo goes outside the office, answering the call from the dog owner, at the hunting site. That man tells Hyunwoo that he got a dash cam footage of the day from a gas delivery person, but that footage has been deleted because the memory of the card is small. Hyunwoo takes the memory to a technician to restore the deleted footage. The technician says he needs at least 3 days. In the Hong kitchen, Beomja insults Sol Hee while she discusses with the doctor and chef about the chairman's meals. After the doctor and chef leave the kitchen, Sol Hee closed the door and hits Beomja. Beomja complains to the chairman about Sol Hee, but he doesn't believe her. Beomja goes to a private investigation office and orders one to get a background check about Sol Hee. At the company, while Haein on her way to meet Eun-sung, she involves in hallucinating, but she gets back to her the reality when Eun-sung finds her. He becomes suspecting in Haein's health. Later, Eun-sung questions Grace about Haein's health. She says Haein has not been getting medical checkups with the family. He asks Grace to find out. The doctor tells Haein that her white cells are too low. He suggests to postpone her medical trip to Germany because the researchers will refuse to perform the therapy. Beomja overhears their conversation. Haein tells her everything and Beomja gets shocked. Haein tells her not to tell anyone else. The chairman shows Eun-sung his precious collectibles. It turns that Eun-sung had met the chairman when he was a child at the orphanage. Eun-sung is learned that the chairman's favorite historical personality is Napoleon, so he gifts the chairman a portrait of Napoleon. Beomja sees Haein while she is leaving for Germany alone. Beomja tells Hyunwoo about that, and he doesn't know about her traveling abroad. Hyunwoo tries to call her, but her phone is unreachable. He goes camping with his friend, but he keeps distracting, thinking about Haein. He watches that documentary video of Haein, saying she wants to travel with her husband Hyunwoo after increasing her sales. While he is watching that, he cries and decides to travel to Germany. Meanwhile, Haein is undergoing checkups. The doctor reuses to get her therapy duo to her low white cells. She gets upset. She visits the place which she had visited before with Hyunwoo in their honeymoon. Hyunwoo reaches the place. He apologizes to her. She tells him that she doesn't want a miracle or a place of no sadness, but all she wants to go home with him. They embrace each other with teary eyes. The technician succeeds in restoring CCTV footage, and it's showing that the person who put the bait for the boar to enter the hunting area. This person is Soo Cheol's wife, Da-hae. Da-hae accompanies Eun-sung, searching Hyunwoo's room. While they are searching, a locked safe grabs Eun-seon's attention. In Germany, while Haein and Hyunwoo have instant ramen, as she wants, Haein tells Hyunwoo about her wishes in her funeral, that she doesn't want memorial services in her funeral. Haein opens up that she has a will, which she wrote it before her marriage, containing that he will not inherit anything because her mother recused her marriage until she wrote her will. At Hyunwoo's room, Eun-sung takes a photo for the technician's card was on his office. Da-hae talks to Eun-sung about his husband Soo Cheol. She mentions him as a fool. She dislikes him. She reminisces his meeting with him, saying he dislikes women who are older than him. He even gets goosebumps because his sisters bullied him since he was little. She tells Eun-sung what his husband does when he knows that she is 5 years older than him. Haein's mother gets a century-old ginseng for her son because he is weak. Beomja tells her to share it with Haein, but she refuses, saying that Haein is strong and rarely caught cold. Beomja gets enraged, yelling at them because she is the only one in the family who knows about Haein's illness. Beomja visits his brother's room, seeing she is sorrow because his snail gets an incurable illness. Hyunwoo and Haein are in their hotel room in Germany. Haein tells him that he can sleep anywhere, so he asks her to share her room, and she agrees. She mentions that her husband Hyunwoo is not like other husbands who were greedy for their wife's inheritance. He feels embarrassed, listening to Haein's talk. In the following day, Hyunwoo prays in the church. Haein receives an email from the research center about a possible therapy. It turns that Hyunwoo was the one who threatened legal action against the research center, which made the head doctor take this decision. Eun-sung goes to the technician's shop through his business card. He gets the CCTV footage which showing that Da-hae is the one who made the bait for the boar which causing the accident at the hunting site. Grace scolds Da-hae for being caught through the CCTV footage. Grace tells Haein's mother that Hyunwoo asked her about Haein's will, and he intentionally reused Soo Cheol's project, saying it's risky, which led the chairman to cancel the project. Soo Cheol tries to convince his grandfather about his project. Da-hae observes him. She reminisces when she saw Soo Cheol for the first time. It turns that Eun-sung and Da-hae were at the same orphanage. At that time, Da-hae met Soo Cheol. She asked him to marry her because she knew that he is a rich boy, but he refuses and leaves. Also, Eun-sung met Haein at that time, when he tries to annoy Sucheol, hitting her brother with his ball. Haein blocks the ball, warning him not to annoy her brother. We see that Haein defends her brother, contrary to what Sucheol thinks about Haein, that she just bothers him all the time. While Hong family has their meal together, Beomja mentions that Sucheol's son doesn't look like him at all. They ask Grace if he baby got the DNA test, and Grace ensures it. Sucheol gets upset for being insulted, his wife and his son, too. He apologizes to his wife Dahai because he is the weakest one in the family. At Hyunwoo's hometown, Hyunwoo's father feels happy because he is sure to win the village head elections. The village becomes so popular after Haein's visit, and her video went viral on the internet. At the train station in Germany, a woman tries to flirt with Hyunwoo, but Haein makes her leave. They talk about their first love, making each other feel jealous. Haein tells him that she met her first love on a bus. At Hong's house, Grace makes one of repairmen, who come to the house to repair the CCTV cameras, to open the locked safe in Hyunwoo's room. She finds the divorce paper. In Germany, Hyunwoo and Haein goes to the bridge where the love lock is. They look for their love lock, which they put in their honeymoon, but they can't find it. They visit and eat in different places. She buys 4-leaf clovers, to give her a good luck. Haein and Hyunwoo visit the research center for Haein's therapy, but Haein hallucinates about her dead brother. She follows him until she goes outside the hospital and gets lost. Hyunwoo looks for her and finally finds her. She tells him about her dead brother. She mentions that when they were kids at 9 in a boat ride, they got involved in a mysterious accident. Her brother saved her life and he drowned. From that day, her mother couldn't forgive her for his death. Eun-sung gifts the Napoleon painting to the chairman, to make good connection with him. The chairman has learned about his accountant's embezzlement and thinks that the attack is directly towards him. A whistleblower told the prosecution about it, and the chairman believes to be someone close to him. While the chairman is telling this to Sul-hee, they discover a wiretapping device. The signal leads them to Hyunwoo's room. They assume that Hyunwoo was the whistleblower. While all that, Eun-sung observes them through a hidden camera in the Napoleon painting he gifted the chairman with. Haein's mother calls Haein about the wiretapping device, and they found the receiver in Hyunwoo's room, but Haein takes Hyunwoo's side. Haein tells her mother to check the CCTV footage before accusing him, and then she powers off her phone. Hyunwoo calls his friend to go the technician to get the dashcam's SD card, and then send it to him, but his friend finds out that the shop is closed. Haein powers Hyunwoo's phone when she finds her mother calls him, too. Beomja discovers that Sul-hee is a fraud. Seol-hee's real name is Sun-young, who died 30 years ago. She went to the prison for adultery and delivered a child in the prison. She spent 3 years prior to her death. At Hong's house, they open Hyunwoo's locked safe. They get shocked, finding the divorce paper. Haein and Hyunwoo go on a walk. The therapy results will come the next day. She says that she needs luck, so Hyunwoo runs all the way to buy 4-leafed clover and makes a bouquet out of them. He also finds their love lock on the way back. When Hyunwoo is about to reach Haein, she receives a message from her mother with a picture of the divorce agreement. She asks Hyunwoo to explain, but he cannot.